Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Spark Live. And it's a beautiful Thursday. I hope it is where you are. I know we've had all this crazy, cruddy winter weather and stuff, but then the sun broke through today and it's been actually really pretty outside. So hope everybody's enjoying that. So as you guys come in, make sure you just thumbs up or give us a like, give us a heart so that we know you're here and we can acknowledge you and do our thing that we do with the Google gods. Okay, so Taylor, you're saying you can't hear me now? Now he's out. Well, crud. We're gonna have problems. Taylor's on the road. He's headed to Shreveport, Louisiana. Actually, Frierson, Louisiana, right outside Shreveport. Going to see one of our favorite clients, Kevin Russell, his business down there, New Buck Chimney, but more specifically to get a chance to do some video with Jonathan and Taylor riding together down there. Going to shoot some video for Warrior Horse, the charity that Kevin started. So that's going to be really good. I can't wait to see that video. Kind of wish I was going along, but it just didn't work out to be able to do that this time. So hopefully Taylor will jump back on here in a minute, but I want to introduce not only the topic for today, but our topic expert, none other than our own Dave Scribani. Hey, man.
Hey, thanks, Carter. Appreciate that.
Yeah, glad you're on board with us and glad you're here. I'm going to add Taylor back. Here he is. Oh, I muted him.
I went to the back. You sent me to the back of the bus, and then when I came up forward, there was nothing there.
No audio. Huh.
I'm here.
Okay,
Yep,
good.
it's all right. I'm here. I'm gonna go silent since I'm in a car.
No worries. I was just introducing Dave. Dave, you've been with us for I guess what?
I really just hit my 90 days prior, at least for being a on staff member. But started contracting, I think, like 2 months prior to that. So
that's right. Yeah. But it's already been just amazing what you brought to the table and a lot of the things that you're helping us up our game with. And a lot of that just kind of falls into the social media category and specifically around Facebook ads. And so that's what the subject is today. We're going to be talking about Facebook ads and specifically what's new with them, what's working, what's not, just some of the trends that we're seeing and looking at that, especially at the end of this year, going into next year. It's just kind of a good thing to do. Real quick shout out to Linda Roydhouse. Thanks for being with us, Linda. Appreciate that. Okay, so just a quick story. I was a young man of 28, 29. No, I might have been 30. 29, 30 anyways, about 2002. And I was just learning about all of the things like, Google and search and SEO and social media. It was back in the early days. Somebody used the word organic content, organic post. And of course, my mind immediately went to this new craze that was going on with like all of the organic fruits and vegetables in the grocery stores. Because back then it was still kind of new. And I thought that must have been what they're talking about. And I was like, but I'm not a grocer. I'm not a... So anyway, I've learned a lot in the years. That's what I'm trying to say. But just to give the benefit of the doubt for anyone who's listening who might not really understand organic, when we throw that word around, and we throw it around a lot in our line of work, can you break down real quick what is organic posting? We're going to talk about Facebook specifically and Facebook organic. It's good to define terms, so let's do that now if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And it's okay to not even know the answer to it. So ultimately, it's really simple. Anything that's organic posting would be anything you post on Facebook or any social platform where you're not paying for ads to expose your post.
That's a good way of putting it. So it's when I put something out that's just me on my phone, I take a picture, I put it on Facebook, I add a few comments a few words and post it. That's organic.
That's right.
I haven't done anything to promote it. I'm not actively paying money or doing any other kinds of activity to try to get that seen by more people other than the people that are allowed by my privacy settings inside Facebook.
That's absolutely right.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So how many people actually do see the posts on Facebook? Organic posts.
Yeah. So this is where I think things have changed in the world of social media in the past probably 5-6 years. It used to be where if you posted something on your Instagram or Facebook 5+ years ago, 90% of those who followed you were able to see the things that you post. But that's drastically changed over the years. The current average reach for an organic Facebook post is just 2.2% and can be as low as 1.1% of the total followers that follow your page, which is extremely low. And that's just simply due to the algorithm. I think the algorithm and that has all been put in place to push people to pay for ads. So, if you little math problem, if you have a Facebook page of say 1,500 followers, your post is really only going to be seen by as few as 33 people if it's just organic.
Yeah. And those are going to be probably people who are on Facebook like all the time.
Yep. Yep.
Those are going to be the ones that encounter it. Yeah. I've wondered if it really is Facebook kind of tweaking their algorithm to make it more favorable for paid posting, or if it really is just a factor of how many billions of people are on the network now posting things. And there's just not, your thumb can only scroll so fast. There's only so much given real estate, even though the average person scrolls the equivalent of the Empire State Building on Facebook every single day.
Yep.
I heard that statistic a little while ago. But still, even with that much scrolling and participating on Facebook or reading Facebook, you're just not going to have the ability to consume all of the content that gets put out on a daily basis. And Google tends to favor personal friends and things like that rather than business brands that you follow. So yeah, but that's so say it again. You're saying not even quite 2%.
Yeah. So the max really is about 2.2%. That's just the industry statistic. And keep in mind, this is specifically speaking about Facebook pages, not personal Facebook accounts. So this is business pages it's specific to, and it can go as low as 1.1% of your total page followers that can potentially see your organic post.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Dave, just real quickly, how does that percentage transfer over to like Instagram? I know they're owned by Facebook.
It's exactly the same.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. And Facebook specifically pushes accounts that already have high engagement levels, high followers. So Instagram prioritizes people's posts who are already on a very large platform in terms of followers. So it's one of the reasons why growing organically is really challenging, because they favor people who already have a platform.
So this may be a little bit off topic, but for someone who is thinking, okay, I'm going to try to get more organic attention, so there's a game to play there, at least there used to be, which was all about making sure that people liked it, make sure that people share it, make sure that people are commenting on it. So engagement becomes the metric by which Facebook says, this is a post that's catching a lot of traction, therefore more people should see it. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I think it is. I think what is happening is, like you said earlier, it's really saturated. You have so many people creating content and posting content that it's hard for any system or platform to prioritize prioritize all of that. So when you're making content and you're trying to start from the beginning, and say you create a new page, the biggest thing is being on social media a lot yourself and trying to identify trends. So things that you see other people creating that's taking off and it's getting a lot of traction, it's getting a lot of engagement. And engagement, when we say that, by the way, that means views and comments and likes. That's all engagement. So follow the trends.
That makes sense. And that's really the only way to get more eyeballs on your organic postings. Is that yeah. Then you get into the paid territory, right?
Yep. Yeah. That ultimately it's follow trends, but it's also be consistent. You can't post twice a week and expect your account to grow.
Yeah. Posting content that is engaging. I like the idea of following the trends. That's really good.
Yep.
So that's like if everybody's doing the ice bucket challenge or whatever, then kind of joining the before you reach the top of the bell curve there to try to jump on that wave.
Yep.
Got it. All right. So now let's switch and talk a little bit about paid on social media, specifically Facebook. Let's talk about kind of where things are with regard to, I'm a small business. I'm a home service business. I'm looking to see if I can figure out a way to make use of Facebook as a platform to get more leads, get more customers, Facebook ads. Let's start with cost. I mean, that's the most sensible thing to do, just to kind of set some expectations and talk about how much it costs and why it costs what it costs.
No, it's a great question. So let's first, we'll talk about how does Facebook ad cost really work. And what we need to explain is how Facebook ads is essentially like a bidding system. So the platform is built on it's called a blind auction system. And ultimately this implies that hundreds of thousands of advertisers like ourselves, other businesses, bid for ad placements, both mobile and desktop, and those things are separate. And that's to reach a specific audience. And that audience is going to be the audience that is your potential customer, right? Or your avatar. Like you build a potential avatar, and that's like a potential customer. Mm-hmm. To keep that bidding process fair, while all advertisers may choose to set any bid they want, if she or he wins the bidding, they will be charged by the system only 1 cent more than the top bidder. So a quick example would be, trying to think of a quick example off the top of my head. A quick example would be for a particular ad spot that costs $1, and the advertiser sets his bid equal to $2, and she or he will be actually charged only $1.01.
That's the next highest top bidder is set at $1. You're set at $2. So you're going to come in 1 penny over what their top amount is.
That's exactly right. So it's a bidding game. And ultimately, if you're new to Facebook ads and you might be a new business, there are ways that you could go in there and try to create your own type of ad. I highly recommend seeking out a professional, someone who is just lives and breeds Facebook ads, because they're going to be able to. The experts know, like myself, people in Spark. We know how to build those ad campaigns to target not just a random group of people, but we really try to zero in and laser focus on your ideal avatar, aka your ideal customer.
Yeah, it's not just about the audience. I mean, it is mostly about the audience, but then it's about the offer or the content, and making sure that it's done in a way that garners the most clicks, the most views, the most engagement. So it's really that two-pronged approach, and maybe there's more prongs than that, but it seems to me anyway that it's about getting your audience right, figuring out how to find the people that want what you have to offer, and then putting the content in front of them that actually is the right bait, getting them to bite, getting them hooked and interested.
That's exactly right. And in today's world, you got to get people hooked within 2 or 3 seconds of them seeing your ad. We're so inundated with ads nowadays, whether it's on TV or we're scrolling through our phone, they're everywhere. So in order to get someone to really watch your ad, it has to be really short, and you have to have that hook within 2 or 3 seconds. Otherwise, people don't watch it.
The statistic about how many ads people see these days, just 3 years ago, that number was resting somewhere around 3,000 ad impressions that every person in the world just going about their day would encounter. And that number since then, just in 3 years, I've seen really that is now as high as 6,000 or 7,000 ad impressions per day for the average person. So yeah, advertising is crazy in terms of where you see it, how much of it there is. Are you seeing what? There have been so many changes, and this is a kind of an inside baseball question, but I think it's relevant to the people that are watching, because last year we heard all of this news about Apple and the Facebook privacy things that were happening, and Apple not allowing Facebook to get certain information about viewers on or about users on its platform, that making it harder for Facebook to give advertisers the kind of data they needed to really dial in and select the kind of customers and users on that platform that they would most appeal to. Has that caused the price of Facebook advertising to change much? Or, I mean, it certainly has made it harder to find your audience. But I mean, is it causing a change in price?
I don't think that was a root cause in the change of price. I think what the catalyst was there is that you no longer get as far with the money that you do invest in ads. So, and that's strictly because I think it was January of last year when Facebook removed over 500 specific audience groups that you could no longer target. So it didn't make ads get more expensive, while the price of ads has increased year over year. I think over the past 3 years was probably the most dramatic. I don't think removing the audiences played a role in increasing those prices. It just made it harder to reach your specific audience. That wasn't even around every industry. It was very specific to certain industries that they removed audiences for.
Okay.
So Dave, quick question.
Yeah.
One of the things that people ask me all the time is, are Facebook ads worth it, or do I just concentrate on organic? What is your take on that between these two things?
Yeah, so they're both two different types of approaches, right? When it comes to posting organically, it's just going to take a longer time to grow. Now, if you want your business to be, the top of mind business, whether someone needs your service right now or not, you're really not going to get that from an organic approach. Now, it doesn't mean organic is bad. You should always be posting content on a regular basis anyways. But the other side of it is Facebook, when run correctly, I don't really recommend lead generation on that as much anymore. Facebook is really good for brand awareness. So when you want to run an ad, I always recommend doing things like video views campaigns, regular brand awareness campaigns. And really what that does is it gives you and your business and your brand an omnipresent effect, so that while the people that are seeing your content right then and there, they may not need you right then and there, but guess what? They saw your content enough that when they do need your service, you're going to be the one that comes to mind first. And that's the idea behind Facebook ads. And it's a really inexpensive way to showcase your brand and how you serve your customer. Video views campaigns are very inexpensive. We're talking anywhere between 10 to 60 cents a click, or 10 to 60 cents a view. It's just a very inexpensive way to create that omnipresent effect is through Facebook.
And it's really, I mean, for that sort of brand awareness campaign, I mean, it's. I think the closest thing to compare it to is just straight ahead television advertising, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. And when we know this, far less people watch TV now than they are on their phone. People are on their phones all day long.
well, and the fact that you still have the ability, even with all of the changes, you still have the ability to find an audience that is more likely to be your audience than you would on general television channels or even cable, specific cable television.
Yeah.
Like if I were comparing, if I was going to target a television ad to homeowners, who might have a chimney, for example, or plumbing or HVAC or whatever,
Yep.
I'm going to be looking at things like HGTV. I don't know, but I mean, I would be looking to see what kinds of content would homeowners be watching. On Facebook, you can get a lot more dialed in. Like you can, find out things like users that have liked Home Depot or Lowe's, for example, and then target people like that. And of course, you're targeting them anonymously. You don't know who they are by any identifying marks or factors, but you at least know that their interests indicate that they are very likely homeowners with repairs, or with the need to fix things around their home. So that's much more targeted than you can get with television, and it's a lot less expensive than television too.
Much less. Yeah, for a couple $100 a month, you could reach a few thousand people that wouldn't otherwise know or have ever interacted with your brand.
Yeah. Why is it that lead gen on Facebook is not as successful with home services business? Any thoughts about that? I mean, have you thought a little bit about the difference there? If you're like, okay, when I say that, that's better unpack that for a minute too, right? Like the purpose of advertising on Facebook, we're drawing a distinction. The purpose could be to drive people to a specific call to action to generate a lead for your business. Or it could be more of a brand play or a brand awareness kind of campaign where you're not really calling somebody to take a specific action. You're just putting your brand out there over and over again so that people become familiar with your brand, accustomed to your brand, to win mind share in terms of your public awareness. So that's kind of what we're talking about when we talk about lead gen versus brand awareness.
Yeah, so it's a great question. There's a couple answers to it, at least from my perspective. Lead gen, from Facebook specifically, was a great tool. I used to see great results from maybe like 2016, 2017, parts of 2018, where we would get great lead gen results. And that shifted when we lost a lot of that 500 targeted audiences that I had mentioned previously. When Facebook removed that, people would now our clients would get leads from Facebook, but because they weren't specific to a targeted audience anymore, the client, the business owner, they'd reach out to those leads, and that was a lead where they'd be like, hey, I called this person, and they were just like, oh, they just clicked on my ad. They weren't actually really interested. And it was because we couldn't get specific as we wanted to with who was seeing it. The second side to leads, and this became kind of like a coaching thing that I've been thinking a lot through, is it's really important as a business owner. And if you are a business owner watching this, leads don't mean a lead that comes in does not mean that they're ready to buy from you. There is a buyer's journey that any lead needs to go through. And typically when someone clicks on an ad that is a lead gen campaign, they're just clicking on it because they're interested. And that means when you get that lead, you as the business owner or your sales team has to walk that lead through the buyer's journey. I should have had that pulled up, but you can Google what the buyer's journey is. There's lots of books on it. There's graphics. And there's 4 or 5 steps that you really got to get someone through before they're actually ready to purchase. So a lot of times you'd have, business owners would get these leads and they'd be like, hey, like, I'm paying for these leads and now they're getting more expensive and they're not interested. And I was finding myself coaching them on the buyer's journey and how to bring someone through that sales process. It's a really good thing to learn. So if you're not sure what that buyer's journey is, I really encourage you to go look that up. Because it's great. It's a great way especially if you have a sales team, to bring them through that so that they know how that process works. But it's just really important to note that when you get a lead, they're not ready to buy from you. And there's this common misunderstanding where a lot of business owners were thinking that if you got a lead, that was it. Like that person's going to buy from you right away. And it's just not the case.
Yeah,
so
not often anyway.
That's right. Yeah. So it's a mixture of that and just recognizing that it's a lot more expensive, and getting leads is actually a lot of work. You got to bring them through that process. It's not instant, and you're going to have to pay your employees to bring someone through that process. So I have just found that because leads have gotten more expensive, specifically with Facebook, focusing on brand awareness was far more rewarding.
Cost effective and rewarding. Yeah.
So one of the things that I wanted to just put out here at that point, when you're talking about leads coming in, a lot of people in home service businesses, they get calls that their customer needs something right now.
Yeah.
That is a need. Right? So it's almost like year for kinds, but it is I need different in leads and leading them through the buyer's journey. And a lot of home service businesses are spoiled because they don't understand the journey. All they want is the buyer, that's the guy that says, I need it now.
Sure. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And that's the other thing with leads too. When a lead comes in, if someone needs something right now, unless you have an employee or a couple employees where their sole purpose is to call and reach out to your leads, which really that's a whole nother topic. If on average, you have about 5 minutes to reach out from the time that individual submits a lead form. Otherwise, there's a good probability, and I believe the statistic is they've already submitted 2 other lead forms to your competitors within 5 minutes of you receiving yours. So if you're not incredibly fast with calling those people, most likely you lost them already.
Yeah, it's very cutthroat, and the need to respond is very high. So this is the kind of strategy, the lead strategy is the kind of strategy that makes a lot more sense when you've got the machinery of a business that's a little bit larger, with dedicated office staff that have the ability to quickly act on leads the moment that they arrive in an inbox or through chat or through a text message or whatever it may be, and monitor those things to capitalize on those leads as quickly as possible. It's not the kind of strategy that a person who runs their business from the truck, who's up on a roof or under a house or in a crawl space or whatever, you're not going to have the ability to catch those leads as quickly and make as good a use of that kind of a strategy. So, that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
All right. One last question. And we've kind of already answered this right here. I mean, in terms of bang for the buck, you're saying, and I'll just reiterate and ask you for, to make sure that I'm capturing what you're saying. You're saying that the most bang for the buck right now you're seeing coming from people who are focused on brand awareness play, using Facebook for especially video to put the brand out there, to use it to kind of highlight and showcase things like our culture and our customer service and our ability to, respond quickly and meet the needs of the customers in our area. And those very brandy kind of things that are things that people might want to know and just file away in the back of their head for the time when they do have a need. Is that kind of a good encapsulation of it?
It's perfect, honestly. Yeah, you went through that perfectly. It's all about, like I said earlier, just follow the trends. And I don't know if I used the term reel earlier when we were talking, but reels are the thing where if you're doing anything organic, Instagram and Facebook are pushing those far past just your regular like organic post to your page. So if you want to continue to do anything organic, I highly recommend doing reels, which are all video based. They're not photo, and they're all shot in portrait. So holding your phone up like this, and they're short. And typically those videos they can be up to a minute long, but if you really want good engagement, I would make them as short as possible, 15, 20 seconds. Add some fun music to it, post it, and that stuff gets pushed a lot further than just a regular organic post to your page.
And that's really all you need. I mean, again, contrasting it to television advertising, the part of the reason that in 3 years' time, the number of ad impressions has jumped from 3,000 to 6,000, doubled, is because the commercial length on television has shortened. The commercial length on radio has shortened.
Yep.
Everything is shorter. And so you can cram 20 commercials in the same space that you used to only be able to get 6 in. And because people like short content, 10, 20 seconds is enough for most people to sit through before they lose interest and move on. So that's the window you've got to work with, and that's perfect for a brand awareness campaign.
Yep.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
How'd you get so smart?
That's awesome, Dave. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Yeah. It's reading and trial and error, Carter. And
yeah.
that's all it is. So for anyone who's watching, who's trying to figure this out, there's always a lot of doubt and hesitation when it comes to posting. Like, should I post this? Is this good enough? Is anyone going to watch it? And the answer to that is just post. It doesn't.
See if it works.
Yep. Just post it, and do not delete it just because it didn't get enough likes or it didn't get enough views. Just keep posting, keep following trends, and be consistent. Great
advice. Good way to end it. Thanks for doing this today, Dave. I appreciate it. And
pleasure.
Thanks for everybody for being on and liking it and being a part of this. I want to just remind everybody, you can watch this after the fact. It is also shareable, so you can send it to somebody that you think needs to see it. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, Podvine. That's a new one. I haven't seen that one before. I mean, I know what it is, but I hadn't seen it in our little caption there thing at the bottom. Or your favorite player. So wherever you consume your podcasts, you can find it there. And make sure you do share it with people. We want to be able to be as helpful as we can to home services businesses as we can. You guys are at the front lines. You make the world work. You make the world go round. And we want to support you in your growth and maybe be a part of that growth if we can. So thanks for being a part of it. Next week, tune in. It's going to be our last show before Christmas break, and we will not have any, I think on the 28th or 9th after Christmas, I think we're taking a break. Is that right, Taylor?
I'm probably going to pick a rerun and put a rerun in that week.
Gotcha. So next week is Q&A. Bring your questions. We'd love to answer those. We've got a good list of questions already that we plan to identify, but if you've got just a burning question in your mind about Facebook that's keeping you up all night long, maybe we'll get Dave back to help us answer that question. But otherwise, we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.
Sounds good. Thank you.